Gear 5th is the most controversial transformation in all of One Piece. Now Oda has made an even more controversial decision. The internet is triggered. Is Oda really destroying One Piece, or has the man planned the story from the beginning? What if not only Luffy, Joy Boy and Nika, but all important MCs in the story end up having Nika's reality changing abilities? Would that even be possible? Does that make sense for the story? What are the implications if it really happens? Today we are taking a closer look at this exciting theory. Chapter 1. The Gomu Gomu no Lie. Since the beginning of the story, it has been repeatedly made clear to us that Luffy has consumed a very simple devil fruit. Luffy is made of rubber, he can stretch, and is immune to gunfire and electricity. For over 20 years we believed and accepted this explanation. But then on Onigashima, Oda suddenly does a 180. Who's Who talks about Luffy's devil fruit and how it was stolen from him in the past by the Red Hair pirate crew. Suddenly we are wondering why the world government had Luffy's fruit. Did Shanks know what kind of fruit he has stolen there in the East Blue? The answer to that should actually be clear by now. Shanks and his crew definitely knew what kind of devil fruit they had stolen from the world government. Shanks was not one of the emperors at that time. A pirate doesn't just randomly attack a world government ship if there isn't a valid reason for it. And the reason was the Gomu Gomu no Mi. But that is actually not the true name of the devil fruit. In reality, the fruit is called Hito Hito no Mi Model Nika, or in English, the human fruit mythological model Nika. In itself, the abilities of the fruit remain as usual. The user becomes rubber, can stretch, and is immune to gunfire and electricity. But this is just a fraction of the true abilities of this devil fruit. The danger of this fruit comes with the awakening. Chapter 2. Toon World. In reality, two legendary historical figures in One Piece had the powers of the Nika fruit. On the one hand, the sun god Nika, and on the other hand, Joy Boy, the first pirate in One Piece. These details have now been confirmed by Vegapunk, but were also hinted at during the war on Onigashima. The Gorosei are talking about Nika returning, and Zunisha speaks about Joy Boy returning. To this day, we do not know 100% why the awakening of Luffy's devil fruit was triggered. It is speculated that Luffy really died, and this death then triggered the awakening. But unfortunately, that's no longer a satisfactory answer for me, because other devil fruit users also had died, and the devil fruit have not triggered an awakening. I personally now believe that the devil fruit must be used for the reason for which it was originally created. Vegapunk suspects that today's devil fruit abilities arose from a wish or a need. In the past, people maybe had a strong desire or need and then somehow they received abilities. But this method seems to no longer work today. In general, Oda is still very vague and inconcrete about the subject of devil fruit awakenings. A big reveal is probably planned for this too. Luffy's awakening is triggered when he feels most free. His heartbeat beats to the rhythm of the drums of liberation. His hair turns white, a cloud tail forms around his upper body, and he starts to jump around and laugh uncontrollably. Luffy can then turn everything into rubber, transform himself into a giant, and change reality like a cartoon character. This awakening seems broken, but it also represents Luffy's nature. Luffy's imagination is his ultimate freedom. Through his awakening, he becomes the warrior of liberation, and according to the Gorosei, it is the most absurd ability in the world. Chapter 3. The Gear 5 Controversy. Now that we are up to date when it comes to the awakening of Luffy's devil fruit, we need to take a look at the controversy surrounding this devil fruit. Because when chapter 1044 was released in March 2022 and Luffy revealed his ultimate transformation, the internet broke. The One Piece fandom was divided. Many fans loved Gear 5th and the creativity that Oda and Luffy displayed here. Many fans, however, hated the transformation because it was simply too broken and led the story even more into the absurd. The controversy revolved around two aspects. On the one hand, Luffy's awakening and the associated toon abilities, and on the other hand, the sudden specialness of Luffy's devil fruit. I somehow can't agree with the first controversial point. Narratively, Luffy's awakening abilities and his new form make absolute sense. He can shape his reality, and through his imagination, Luffy gains boundless freedom. This just speaks for the core motives of the story. Nobody saw this form and these abilities coming. Oda himself has already said in an interview that he was convinced that many fans would view this new form rather critically. But he himself wanted to do the whole thing because it was fun for him. I think it's not only fun, but also fits Luffy and the story of One Piece perfectly. Oda pays homage to all the previous cartoon works that shaped him and his story One Piece. However, I personally have to share the second controversy about the sudden specialness of Luffy's Devil Fruit. In the story, we were told over and over again that Luffy's Devil Fruit is a simple Devil Fruit and only became something special through Luffy and his creativity. Suddenly, Luffy then has the fruit of the Chosen One, which was eaten by legendary historical figures in the past. In addition, the world government does not know that Luffy has this super ultra special fruit, even though he has declared war on them and was actively fighting at Marineford. Nobody can tell me that nobody in the world government or the Marines has noticed that Luffy has rubber-like abilities like a certain sun god and like a certain first pirate. I honestly can't believe that, and for me, it's just not good writing. The Gurusei could have hinted at a secret about Luffy's Devil Fruit on Nina's lobby or on Marineford. It would have just taken a short moment to hint at the uniqueness of this Devil Fruit. On Onigashima, the whole thing then seemed super random and very off to me. Honestly, I think very few fans would have minded if Luffy's fruit had remained a random Paramecia fruit and only became so special through Luffy. Because Luffy is the protagonist of One Piece. He's of course also the Chosen One. But that's not how it felt in the story before, because Luffy has always sought help. He has said that he can't win on his own and relies on his Nakama. But with the latest info in the story, Oda has now broken the internet and enabled a theory that could change One Piece forever. Chapter 4 – Bonnie's Nika form. With chapter 1118, Oda has now made the impossible possible. Not only does Luffy possess a Nika form, but now Bonnie does as well. This reveal and this climax of Bonnie's character arc is currently dividing the fanbase. Many fans are disappointed or somehow can't get anything out of this reveal. For me personally, it fits very well into One Piece. Symbolically and metaphorically, Bonnie's transformation here perfectly fits her character arc. I even go so far as to say that not only she, but many other characters in the story will receive a Nika form in the future. But before we get to that, we first have to look at why Bonnie is even able to take on this form. The whole thing is actually quite simple. Of course, it's because of her Devil Fruit. Bonnie possesses the 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚎 no-Mi. With this Paramecia Devil Fruit, she can temporarily manipulate the age of humans or objects. She is also able to create an artificial potential future. This so-called distorted future is linked to her own belief. This is the advantage, but also the disadvantage of this ability, because Bonnie is only 12 years old and her belief can be influenced quickly. Since Bonnie has knowledge about Nika and has presented her distorted future, it was clear that she tries to imitate Nika and will ultimately succeed in the story. Then she failed against Saturn. This has shown the limits of her ability. Bonnie cannot use her distorted future if she is afraid or loses faith in a better future. If her imagination is disturbed, she loses her power. Now through Luffy, she regains her belief in a better future and imagines a future in which she is most free. And this triggers the Nika 2.0 transformation. She will certainly have similar abilities to Luffy in this form, but she still has the limitations of her own abilities. If Bonnie is afraid, or if Bonnie doubts herself, she loses the abilities. And this is the fundamental difference to Luffy. He does not have these limitations. Luffy's abilities are the limitless freedoms of his imagination. Bonnie only imitates this and becomes the hero her father worshipped. And this is Bonnie's character arc on Egghead. Bonnie is a banished Tenryubito slave child raised by Kuma as his own child and then becomes the hero Kuma worshipped. She doubts herself and is afraid, however Bonnie faces these fears and through her imagination she creates a future in which she can save her father. It's just again the theme of imagination as ultimate freedom. This has been playing a role in One Piece since the Gear 5th reveal. The belief in one's own abilities, the belief in oneself and the belief in one's own dreams. So what if this Nika transformation is simply a metaphor for this belief? The Nika religion is faith in oneself, in one's dreams and in a better world. Chapter 5 – The Future of Nika. Ever since the Bonnie Nika reveal, I've been wondering if every character will have this Nika transformation at the end of the story and feel as free as Luffy for a moment. But with chapter 1118, we saw that Luffy can encourage others to transform into Nika. So what if Bonnie will carry this idea forward? What if the awakening of Bonnie's 𝙲𝚙𝚎 no-Mi is capable of giving others the Nika form and thus the ultimate freedom? This doesn't mean that everyone becomes Luffy and everyone gains Gear 5th abilities, it's rather a symbolic gesture for all characters who are oppressed and have never felt real freedom. And that's actually also the story of Luffy in One Piece. Since the beginning of One Piece, Luffy has been helping others to believe in their own dreams and to motivate them to pursue these dreams. He helps them fight oppression. Every Straw Hat member, but also important side characters from the individual arcs, have this story arc. Bonnie is just the next character whom Luffy helps to believe in herself. What if Bonnie then simply passes on this Nika belief? This belief in Nika is a metaphor for freedom and is a belief in one's own dreams. And that raises another question. Has Nika perhaps never existed? Was the belief in Nika perhaps Joy Boy's idea that clashed with the idea of Imu and the Gorosei? The legend around Nika and Joy Boy remains a mystery in the story. However, I'm now beginning to believe that we will not only see 2 Nikas simultaneously in the story, but significantly more. Because if the world government is already scared of 1 Nika, goes crazy with 2, then they will surely collapse with hundreds of Nikas in the story. What is your opinion on this whole Nika theme and theory? Feel free to let me know in the comments. And if you liked this video, you can watch this video next, in which Son Goku experiences an isekai adventure in the world of One Piece. Have fun and see you in the next one.